The city lights flickered over wet streets, painting everything in shades of blue and red. Rain fell softly, bouncing off the asphalt and creating small splashes around the taxi stands. A small figure stood at the corner, trembling, her silver hair sticking to her face. Her skin glowed faintly, pale blue in the night, shimmering like soft moonlight. She clutched a small bag tightly, but inside there was nothing. No credits, no money, nothing at all. Her eyes darted around nervously, watching humans pass by, their faces hard and uninterested. She raised her hand, trying to flag a taxi, but they ignored her as if she were invisible. The girl swallowed, her throat dry, heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She whispered to herself, "Please, just one taxi. I need to go somewhere safe." She had come from far away, from a world humans had never seen. Her people were hunted for their DNA, a rare and valuable genetic code that could make a fortune. And now, alone in this strange city, she had nowhere to turn. She shivered, cold not only from the rain but from fear. A car horn blared behind her and she jumped, startled. Another taxi drove past, the driver shaking his head at her, muttering something under his breath. The alien girl's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away quickly. She could not cry here, not yet. Not in front of strangers. Her glowing markings pulsed faintly as if reflecting her fear. Then, from the distance, headlights appeared. Slowing down toward her, the taxi stopped, its engine humming quietly in the rain. The window rolled down, revealing a human face, curious and cautious. "Where to?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. The girl's lips trembled and she looked down at her empty hands. I have no money," she whispered, almost afraid to speak. The driver frowned slightly, then paused, studying her glowing eyes, the delicate frame, and the faint aura around her. He opened the door, a simple gesture that felt like safety. "Climb in. Don't worry about payment," he said, and there was no hesitation, no question, only kindness. The girl hesitated, surprised by the human's generosity. Slowly, she stepped into the taxi, sliding into the seat, wet hair sticking to her shoulders. The warmth of the vehicle made her shiver less. She looked at the driver, eyes wide, not sure why this human had helped her. The taxi moved forward, weaving through the glowing streets, neon lights reflected in puddles on the asphalt, creating dancing patterns around them. The girl clutched her bag again, wishing it contained something to repay him. I will pay you back one day," she said quietly, her voice small. The driver glanced at her, smiling faintly. "You don't have to worry about that." He glanced at her again, noticing the faint scars on her hands, marks of a life he could not imagine. She was fragile, young, yet there was a strength in her eyes, a determination that reached past the fear. The city around them seemed alive, the rain falling like a soft rhythm. For a moment, the girl allowed herself to breathe, to hope. The taxi turned a corner, and she saw a group of humans rushing past, completely unaware of her presence. She hugged her bag tighter, thinking of what she had escaped, what she had left behind. A shiver ran through her as she remembered the hunters, their cold faces, their cruel intentions. "They will not stop until they have me," she whispered softly, almost to herself. The driver glanced in the rearview mirror, noticing her fear. But he did not speak. He understood without words, without explanations, because sometimes kindness is all you need. The girl finally leaned back, closing her eyes, letting the hum of the taxi engine soothe her. Her glowing markings pulsed softly, fading slightly as the warmth and safety settled in, and for the first time that night she allowed herself a small smile. This stranger, this human, had given her more than a ride. He had given her trust. And in the dark city streets, with rain falling around them, a story began that would change both their lives forever. The taxi moved faster, the light stretching into long streaks. And in the alien girl's mind, hope began to grow, small but undeniable. She did not know what would happen next, but she Knew somehow humanity had already given her the most unexpected gift. The taxi moved quickly through the wet city streets, neon lights reflecting on the shiny asphalt. The alien girl sat quietly, hands folded on her lap, staring out of the window. She watched humans pass by, unaware of the strange glowing passenger beside them. Her eyes followed the neon signs, the rain, the traffic lights, and she felt the weight of her journey. Finally, she turned to the driver, voice barely above a whisper. I'm not from here." The human glanced at her, curiosity mixed with concern. "I can tell, but where are you from?" She shook her head, unsure if she could explain. "It is complicated." Her hands trembled as she reached into her small bag, pulling out a crystal that pulsed softly with light. The driver blinked, startled by the glowing object. "What is that?" he asked, voice low, careful. "It is valuable. Very rare," she said. "I cannot use it properly here, but it can help you." The human leaned closer, inspecting the crystal, its light flickering over his face. It seemed alive, as if it were breathing or aware of him. I don't understand," he said, unsure how a small glowing crystal could matter. The alien girl swallowed, her glowing markings pulsing nervously. "It is not money, but it can protect you. Even give you something more," she said softly. The driver hesitated, then nodded slowly, taking the crystal carefully in his hands. As soon as he held it, a warmth spread through his chest, and the lights inside the taxi flickered as if acknowledging it. He looked at her in surprise. It feels alive." She nodded. "It responds to kindness, to trust." The driver's heart beat faster, understanding the weight of her words. She smiled faintly, a mixture of hope and fear on her face. "I know I cannot pay you in credits," she said, voice trembling, "but I can offer this instead." The human stared at her, realizing that this moment was unusual, extraordinary, unlike anything he had ever experienced. He felt a strange connection, a pull of trust, compassion, and curiosity. The taxi turned a sharp corner and the girl looked out the window, her glowing eyes scanning the streets. "They are still looking for me," she said quietly. "The hunters. They will not stop." The driver glanced in the rearview mirror, noticing shadows moving in the distance, but he did not panic. Instead, he felt a strange responsibility, as if this small alien girl had chosen him for a reason. He adjusted his speed, weaving through the traffic carefully, keeping her safe. The alien girl reached out, touching his arm lightly, the crystal glowing brighter in response. "You are different from the others," she said. "You did not turn away from me, you did not refuse me." The human swallowed, unsure what to say. I just wanted to help," he murmured. She looked at him, eyes shining with gratitude. "That is why it works," she whispered. The crystal pulsed again, filling the taxi with a warm, soft light. It was not just a gift. It was a promise, a bond forming between them. The driver felt energy flow into him, knowledge, feelings, intuition he had never known. He realized that this was more than a crystal. It was a key, a bridge between their worlds. The alien girl smiled faintly, her voice calm now. "You saved me tonight, even without knowing it." The human nodded, finally understanding. "And you are giving me something in return, something unexpected." She held out her hands, letting a soft glow spread into the taxi, filling the small space with warmth. The driver looked at her in awe, seeing not just an alien, but a being who trusted him. A connection formed without words, without contracts, only choices, compassion and courage. The city moved around them, lights blurring in rain, but inside the taxi, time seemed to slow. The alien girl leaned back, her breathing steadying. "I wanted to repay you, somehow, for helping me when no one else would." The driver smiled faintly. "You already have," he said, feeling the truth of it. As the taxi continued through the night, the shadows behind them grew closer. But the girl did not panic, her trust in the human and in the crystal giving her courage. He glanced at her, again realizing that kindness had unlocked something he could not explain. They were both part of a story far larger than the city, larger than themselves. The alien girl's eyes glowed brighter as she whispered, "You will see. It will change your life." The driver nodded, gripping the wheel tighter, ready for whatever lay ahead. And in that quiet moment, the bond of trust, the first spark of an extraordinary adventure, was sealed. The city lights reflected off the wet streets. But inside the taxi, the glow of hope and trust was brighter than any neon sign. For the first time, both human and alien understood that the world could be different, that compassion could lead to something extraordinary. And as the taxi sped toward safety, the first steps of a life-changing journey began. The city streets twisted and turned beneath the tires of the taxi, rain splashing in sheets against the windshield. The alien girl pressed her hands to the glass, watching the neon reflections blur and stretch. Her glowing markings pulsed faster, a silent warning that the hunters were near. She whispered softly, "They are following us. I can feel it." The driver glanced in the rearview mirror, seeing dark shapes moving between the headlights, keeping pace with them. He swallowed, heart racing. "How fast can they move?" he asked, gripping the wheel tightly. The alien girl shook her head. "Faster than you can imagine. They hunt without mercy." Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes were focused, sharp with determination. She reached into her small bag, pulling out the glowing crystal, its light pulsing in response to her fear. The driver leaned closer. "What is that going to do?" She hesitated, then whispered, "It can slow them. For a little while. But not forever." He nodded, understanding the stakes, the danger pressing close like a heavy fog. The taxi swerved sharply around a corner, tires screeching on wet asphalt. The alien girl gripped the seat, her glowing markings flaring as the crystal reacted to the movement. The shapes in the rearview mirror moved faster, almost gliding over the wet streets. The driver's hands tightened on the wheel, muscles straining, mind calculating every turn, every possibility. "They are relentless," the girl murmured. "They will not stop until they have me." A shadow darted between the cars ahead, moving unnaturally, almost like a predator. The driver slammed on the brakes briefly, causing a human driver to honk in surprise. The alien girl leaned forward, crystal glowing brighter. "We need to lose them. Now." He nodded, taking an unexpected turn into a narrow alley, tires splashing through puddles. The glow from her markings lit up the walls of the alley, a soft blue light bouncing off the wet bricks. The shadows followed, slipping between the corners and alleys like water, silent but menacing. The driver's pulse hammered, every sense alert, scanning for escape routes. "You are fast," the alien girl whispered. "For a human." He allowed himself a brief smile despite the danger. "I've had practice with tricky streets." The alley opened into a wider road, and the driver pushed the taxi faster, rain whipping around them. The alien girl leaned closer to him. "There is a place, not far, where we can hide." "Tell me," he said, voice tense but calm. She directed him with quiet urgency, naming streets and corners he had never known. Each turn was precise, calculated, a dance of survival against invisible hunters. Behind them the shadows multiplied, strange vehicles moving in perfect synchronization. "They are not human," she said quietly. "Their minds are connected. They know each other's thoughts." The driver swallowed hard, realizing the danger was greater than he had imagined. Rain poured over them, slipping down the windshield like tiny rivers. The crystal in her hand pulsed, sending ripples of light across the dashboard. The alien girl's eyes never left the road ahead, every fiber of her being alert. The driver noticed how she seemed to communicate with the crystal silently, guiding them both. The taxi turned sharply again, and the shadows hesitated for a split second, giving them a small advantage. "They can sense fear," she whispered. "Stay calm and we can make it." The driver nodded, focusing on the lights ahead, weaving between human traffic. The alien girl leaned back, breathing steadily now, the glow from her markings dimming slightly, but the danger was still close, pressing against them like a living thing. Suddenly, a shadow leapt onto the road ahead, blocking the taxi's path. The driver slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching, heart pounding. The alien girl grabbed the crystal, and a bright light burst forth, filling the alley, blinding the shadow. Temporarily, the vehicle moved again, tires spinning on wet asphalt, barely avoiding the obstacle. The shadow hissed, retreating momentarily. Then the chase continued, relentless and silent. The driver glanced at the girl, realizing how extraordinary she was, how her courage kept him focused. "I don't know how you survived this long," he said, voice low. She gave him a faint smile. "I am not used to giving up, even when everything is against me." The crystal's light pulsed softly, filling the taxi with warmth, a small shield against the darkness. The rain blurred the city lights, creating streaks of color that seemed alive, moving with them. The alien girl whispered again. "If we reach the old warehouse, we might have a chance." The driver's pulse quickened, knowing the final test of their escape was near. He took another sharp turn, dodging a human car, barely avoiding a collision. The shadows followed, faster now, more coordinated, sensing that their prey was close to escape. The alien girl's hand shook slightly as she held the crystal, but her eyes were steady, focused, unwavering. The taxi raced through the dark streets, every second stretching, the tension unbearable. The driver's mind worked, faster than ever, weaving through alleys and side streets, and finally in the distance a dimly lit building appeared, old, abandoned, but safe. The alien girl's face lit up faintly, a glimmer of hope shining in her eyes. "This is it," she whispered. "If we make it here, we can hide, for now." The driver nodded, determination matching hers, pushing the taxi faster. The shadows closed in, but the crystal's light flared again, pushing them back just enough. The alley opened to the warehouse, and the taxi skidded to a stop, doors flinging open. The alien girl jumped out, pulling the driver with her, and they slipped inside just as the shadows reached the alley. Outside, the night continued, rain falling, neon lights reflecting on wet streets. Inside, the two of them caught their breath, hearts pounding. The chase had begun, but they had survived the first night together, and in the quiet warehouse, the alien girl looked at the human, gratitude and determination in her glowing eyes. "Thank you," she whispered softly, "for trusting me." The driver nodded, realizing this was only the beginning of an adventure neither of them could have imagined. Inside the old warehouse, the rain outside pattered against the rusted roof, echoing through the empty halls. The alien girl looked around, her glowing markings dimmed but still faintly pulsing. She pressed her hands against the walls, feeling the vibrations of the city outside. The human stood beside her, catching his breath, eyes wide with curiosity and concern. "This place, it is safe. For now," she whispered. "But we cannot stay long." He nodded, glancing at the shadows through the broken windows, moving like silent predators. "I need to know more about you," he said, voice steady but full of questions. She hesitated, biting her lip, unsure how much she could reveal. "I am not from this world," she finally said. "I come from a place far from here, a place humans cannot imagine." The human leaned closer, intrigued. "Then why are you here? Why are they chasing you?" Her eyes darkened, the glow of her markings, pulsing with fear. "They want my DNA, something unique that only I possess." The driver's eyes widened. "DNA? Why? What can it do?" She shook her head. "I do not know everything, but it can give power, control. They plan to use it to dominate." He took a deep breath, realizing the danger was beyond anything he had faced. "But why come to your world?" he asked cautiously. "Why trust me?" The alien girl hesitated, then looked at him, her eyes bright and honest. You helped me when no one else would. That is why, she said softly. Trust is rare, even for me. He nodded slowly, understanding that their bond was more than chance. The warehouse was cold, empty, but it offered a moment of quiet, a pause in the chaos. She walked to the center, pulling out a small device from her bag. It was shaped like a crystal similar to the one she had given him, but larger, intricate, humming with light. This can show the truth, she explained. It reveals memories, events, the things I cannot speak aloud. The human watched in awe as she placed the crystal on the floor, light spreading across the warehouse. The glow formed a soft projection, images floating in the air, shimmering like liquid. The first image showed her home world, a beautiful place of glowing cities and floating landscapes. Aliens of her kind moved gracefully, glowing markings on their skin, peaceful yet alert. The human gasped, unable to imagine such a place existed. She reached out, guiding him through the images. This is where I was born, where I belonged. Then the projection changed, showing darker scenes, hunters approaching, armed with strange devices. They attacked without warning. She whispered, "They took my family, and I barely escaped." The human felt a knot in his stomach, realizing the full scale of her danger. He stepped closer, instinctively protective. "And now they want you?" She nodded, a single tear sliding down her cheek, glowing faintly in the light. "They will not stop," she said quietly. "Not until they have me, or my DNA." The human clenched his fists, determination burning in his chest. "We will stop them," he said firmly. "I don't care who they are or what they want." She looked at him, surprise in her eyes. You would fight for me?" He nodded. "You trusted me, I will return that trust." The crystal projected another scene, showing hunters capturing other aliens, experimenting with glowing crystals. The human felt a chill, understanding how ruthless they were. "They experiment, they destroy," she said, voice trembling. "I cannot let them do the same to anyone else." He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "We will find a way to protect you, and them too." For the first time, she allowed herself to feel hope, the warmth of compassion between them. The crystal flickered, projecting one last image, a hidden map of the city, streets and tunnels marked with glowing lines. "This is where I can hide for a while," she explained, "but it is dangerous. They will come searching." The human studied the map, memorizing the routes, feeling the weight of responsibility. "You are counting on me," he said. "I won't let you down." She nodded, placing a small hand on his, the crystal pulsing. Softly between them, outside, the shadows continued to move, searching, relentless and patient. Inside the warehouse, they made plans, tracing routes, deciding where to go next. The alien girl spoke quietly. "There is another secret, something I have never shared with anyone." The human leaned closer, curious. "What is it?" She hesitated, then whispered, "I can sense emotions, even thoughts. Sometimes before they happen." He raised his eyebrows. "That is incredible. It means you knew they were coming?" She nodded. "Yes, but it is not always enough." The human realized then that her gift, her uniqueness, was both a blessing and a curse. "They want my DNA because it is special," she said softly. "It can heal, protect, or destroy. In the wrong hands, it is dangerous." He felt a shiver run down his spine, understanding the gravity of their situation. For the first time, he truly saw her, not just as a stranded alien girl, but as a being of immense value, courage, and vulnerability. The rain continued outside, the city moving, unaware of the life and death struggle hidden within its streets. The alien girl and the human prepared for the next step, aware that their journey was only beginning, and in that abandoned warehouse, secrets were unveiled, trust was formed, and a plan to survive was set into motion. For the first time, both knew that their fates were intertwined. The hunters would come. The danger was real. But together, Human and alien. They might just have a chance. The alien girl and the human crouched behind crates in the dim light of the warehouse, listening carefully to the rain outside. Her glowing markings pulsed faintly, a heartbeat of fear and anticipation. The human adjusted the strap of his jacket, trying to steady his shaking hands. "They are close," she whispered. "I can feel them, moving through the city like shadows." He nodded, peering through a broken window, eyes scanning for movement. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the air like electricity crawling across metal. The alien girl tensed, crystal in hand, light flaring slightly as if reacting to the approaching danger. "They are here," she said softly. "They have found the warehouse." The human swallowed hard, adrenaline surging. "Then we face them, head on if we must." The first shadow appeared outside, moving with unnatural precision, stepping carefully over puddles. The human held his breath as another figure followed, silent and relentless. "They sense us," the alien girl whispered, but not fully, not yet. The figures reached the edge of the warehouse, scanning the walls, sensors glowing faintly in the dark. The human felt a chill, realizing they were not ordinary beings. "They are not human," he said, voice low. "They are something else, something advanced." The alien girl nodded. "Yes, and they are dangerous." The first shadow extended a hand, strange energy flickering at its fingertips, scanning the warehouse interior. The human gripped a metal pipe he had found. "Ready to defend," heart hammering in his chest, the alien girl whispered, "When I signal, act." Suddenly, the crystal in her hand exploded with light, a blinding flare that filled the room. The shadows hissed and recoiled, energy rippling around them. The human charged, swinging the pipe at the nearest figure, catching it off guard. The alien girl moved beside him, hands glowing as she manipulated energy, pushing the hunters back. One shadow lunged at her, but she twisted, glowing markings bright, creating a shield of light that threw it off balance. The human ducked under a sweeping attack, heart racing, adrenaline blinding fear. "You are strong," he shouted, "but they are fast." She nodded, voice steady. "I know, but we can outsmart them." Another shadow appeared behind them, sensors scanning for heat and movement. The alien girl reached for the crystal on the floor, raising it high, energy pulsing outward in waves. The waves pushed the shadows back, but one leapt forward, hitting the wall with a metallic clang. The human swung the pipe again, striking a figure, metal echoing through the warehouse. The alien girl hissed, energy crackling. "They adapt quickly. We must move." She grabbed his arm and they dashed toward a side exit, narrowly avoiding another attack. Outside, rain poured, lightning flashing across the sky, illuminating the shadows in brief bursts. The human stumbled, nearly falling, but she pulled him up, glowing markings bright against the night. "We can lose them in the old subway tunnels," she said urgently. "They cannot follow as easily there." He nodded, muscles aching, lungs burning, determination pushing him forward. The shadows followed, sensors glowing, energy rippling, but the human and alien girl were faster, weaving. Through streets and alleys, they reached the subway entrance, abandoned and dark, water dripping from the ceiling. The alien girl pointed to the tracks. "This way, it will be safer for now." The human followed, hearing the distant hum of the hunters above, relentless and unyielding. Inside the tunnels, echoes bounced, footsteps chasing, but the shadows hesitated at the edge, sensing something they could not navigate. The alien girl exhaled, marking the first moment of relief. "We have a chance. Here we are safer." The human leaned against the wall, catching his breath. "That was too close. I didn't know they could move like that." She nodded. "They are trained, relentless, but not invincible." He looked at her, eyes wide. "I never expected to fight aliens tonight or to survive." She gave a faint smile. "Survival is only the beginning." The tunnel stretched ahead, dark and twisting, but for the first time the human felt a sense of purpose. "We Need a plan, he said. We cannot keep running forever, she agreed. We will rest briefly, then move deeper. They will not find us easily there. He watched her, glowing markings lighting the dark tunnel, strength and courage radiating from her. The alien girl lowered the crystal, energy dimming but her pulse still strong. They adapt fast, she murmured. We must be faster, smarter. He nodded, understanding the stakes, realizing the weight of protecting someone so extraordinary. Outside the tunnel, rain continued to fall, hiding their escape from the city above. Inside, shadows lingered, sensing, waiting, but unable to follow. The alien girl looked at him, eyes shining. Thank you for standing by me. He nodded. I'm not leaving. Not ever. The first confrontation had ended, but the hunters would return, stronger, more prepared. The tunnels offered safety, but not forever. And in the dim glow of the alien girl's markings, the human knew that they had survived only because they had faced the danger together. Their bond had grown stronger in the fight, trust and courage intertwining, and somewhere deep in the city, the shadows waited, plotting their next move. The night was far from over, and the real battle was only beginning. The alien girl and the human moved cautiously through the dark subway tunnels, the faint drip of water echoing around them. Her glowing markings lit the path ahead, casting eerie shadows along the walls. The human's heart still pounded from the fight above, muscles tense, mind alert. They will be back soon, she whispered. They never give up and they always learn from their mistakes. He nodded, gripping the strap of his bag. Then we need to be ready. We cannot wait for them to make the first move. The tunnels twisted and turned, abandoned signs of a once busy system now covered in graffiti and grime. Suddenly, a soft humming sound reached their ears, almost melodic, yet strangely mechanical. The alien girl froze, ears tilting, sensing the presence immediately. Someone is here, but they are not like them. A shadow moved near the tunnel wall, a figure emerging slowly from the darkness. The human stepped in front of the alien girl, raising a hand, ready to strike. The figure raised its hands in peace, glowing softly, eyes reflecting intelligence and curiosity. I mean no harm, a calm voice said. I've been tracking the same hunters you are running from. The alien girl tilted her head, intrigued. Who are you? My name is Leora, the figure replied. I am like you, but I chose a different path. The human narrowed his eyes, suspicious. Like her? You mean alien? Leora nodded, markings faint but distinct, shimmering under the dim lights. I have been in hiding for years, avoiding the hunters, she explained. I know their methods, their weaknesses. I can help. The alien girl's eyes lit up, hope flickering. Then you can help us survive. Leora stepped closer, examining them carefully. Survive. You are more than survival. You are a key, she said softly, glancing at the alien girl. The human frowned. A key? To what? They seek something powerful in her DNA, Leora said quietly. Something that could change everything. In the wrong hands, it could destroy worlds. The alien girl's glow dimmed slightly, fear rising in her chest. I do not want that power. I only want to live. Leora nodded, understanding. Then we must be smart. I know the city's hidden paths, old tunnels, abandoned stations, places where they cannot reach us. The human took a deep breath, relief washing over him. Finally, someone who knows more than us? Leora gave a faint smile. I have also seen humans before. Some are brave. Like you, she said, nodding to him. He shifted uncomfortably. I'm just trying to help. The alien girl stepped closer. Together, we have a chance. But we must act fast. The tunnels seemed endless, but Leora led them through narrow passageways, each step careful and precise. They adapt quickly, she warned, but their machines are predictable. We can use that against them. The human listened, absorbing every detail, feeling the weight of responsibility. They reached a larger chamber, an old maintenance room, filled with broken equipment and crates. "This will be our base for now," Leora said, pointing. "We can rest, plan, and strike if needed." The alien girl set down her small bag. Pulling out the crystal that had guided them, glowing faintly, Leora knelt beside it, tracing her fingers over the surface. This crystal responds to her energy. It can amplify her abilities, but only if she focuses. The alien girl nodded, a mix of fear and determination in her eyes. "Then I must learn to control it. Before they come." The human looked at her, admiration growing. "You've faced more than I could imagine, and you're still standing." She smiled faintly. "I have to. For both of us." Suddenly, a faint vibration ran through the floor, almost imperceptible. Leora's eyes widened. "They are close, testing the tunnels, looking for us." The human's pulse quickened. "Then we prepare. We fight if we must." Leora shook her head slightly. "Not fight. Trap. We will make them believe we are weak, lead them into a mistake." The alien girl glanced at her, intrigued. "A trap?" "Yes," Leora said, standing, energy pulsing from her markings. "They are hunters, but hunters make mistakes when overconfident." The human felt a surge of hope. "Then let them come." Outside, the city rumbled under the storm, rain, washing the streets, masking the quiet movements underground. Inside the tunnel chamber, 3 figures prepared, their bond growing, trust forming between human and aliens. They were different from different worlds, but united by survival and courage. The alien girl held the crystal tightly, feeling Leora's guidance, strength, and knowledge flowing through her. The human checked the doors and exits, ready for any encounter. The chamber was quiet, yet tension hung in the air, thick as the rain outside. "They will come," Leora said softly. "And when they do, we will be ready." The alien girl nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "I will not let them take me, or anyone else," she whispered. The human placed a hand on her shoulder. "And I will not let you face them alone." For the first time, hope and strategy intertwined, forming a plan stronger than fear. The storm outside continued, thunder echoing, rain pouring, shadows moving across the city streets. But in that hidden chamber beneath the city, the 3 allies prepared for the next step. The hunters would return, relentless and deadly. But they had an unexpected ally now. One who knew the paths, the secrets, and the weaknesses. And together, they could turn the hunter's own pursuit into a trap. A first step toward victory, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. The alien girl, the human, and Leora, ready to face whatever came next. United, strong, and determined. The alien girl, the human, and Leora moved silently through the winding subway tunnels. Tension thick in the air. Every step echoed off the walls. Every drip of water sounded like a warning. The alien girl's crystal glowed softly in her hand, pulsing with her heartbeat, energy ready to surge. The human checked the barricades they had set, eyes scanning every shadow, muscles coiled for the fight. Leora led them to a wider chamber, a former train depot now dark and abandoned. "This is where we make our stand," she whispered. "They cannot expect what we are planning." The alien girl took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. "I am ready. I have to be." The human placed a hand on her shoulder. "We are ready. Together." Outside the tunnels, the hunters moved carefully, their sensors scanning, energy humming. "They are close," Leora murmured. "And they are hunting, with full force now." The alien girl raised the crystal, energy flowing through her, her glowing markings brightening. "I will control it," she said, voice steady. Though her hands trembled slightly, the human gripped his makeshift weapon, nerves raw. "Then let's show them what we can do." Suddenly, a shadow appeared at the entrance, moving with precision, energy crackling at its fingertips. Another followed, then another. The hunters advancing in formation, relentless, cold. Leora moved beside the alien girl, hands glowing, Wait for my signal, then we strike. The human nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, ready to protect them both. The hunters paused, scanning, unaware of the traps set in the room, wires and old machinery ready to turn against them. The alien girls, Crystal pulsed brighter, responding to her fear and determination. Leora whispered, "Now." The energy surged, the crystal releasing a wave of light that rippled through the chamber. The hunters stumbled, caught off guard, their sensors overloaded. For a moment the human charged, swinging his weapon, striking the nearest hunter, metal ringing. The alien girl moved beside him, hands glowing, projecting energy shields that deflected attacks. Leora raised her hands, energy waves rippling, throwing the hunters off balance. They fought in unison, human and alien, a strange and unstoppable team. One hunter lunged at the alien girl, but she twisted, releasing a burst of crystal light that sent it crashing into the wall. The human blocked another with a pipe. Feeling the force, heart racing, adrenaline blinding fear, Leora shouted, "Keep moving! Do not let them corner you." The alien girl darted between shadows, crystal flaring, energy pulses knocking hunters back. The human swung again, striking one down, then another, each movement precise, desperate. The hunters adapted quickly, but the team anticipated, countering every move. Using the environment to their advantage, old machinery rattled and groaned, triggered by the traps they had set, creating chaos for the hunters. The alien girl felt her energy peak, glowing markings bright, crystal humming with power. She projected a wave of light, strong enough to push 3 hunters back simultaneously. The human shouted, "Now!" Together they rushed forward, exploiting the confusion, striking with precision. One hunter faltered, tripping over a loose cable. The human struck, disabling it completely. The alien girl focused, crystal energy enveloping another, immobilizing it in a bright cocoon of light. Leora moved swiftly, controlling energy flows, turning the hunters' own momentum against them. They were relentless, but now trapped, outmatched, and disoriented. The human gritted his teeth, pushing forward, heart pounding. "We can do this!" The alien girl's glow intensified. Fear transformed into determination, power into control. One final hunter advanced, strongest of them all, energy crackling violently, intent on taking her. The alien girl held the crystal high, energy converging into a concentrated beam. "Back off!" she shouted, voice echoing through the chamber, power radiating from her. The hunter faltered, sensing strength it had never encountered, a power beyond prediction. The human moved beside her, striking at the hunter's legs, creating imbalance. Leora projected waves of energy from above, pinning it down, crystal light surrounding it. The chamber filled with light, energy, and sound, a clash of power and will. Finally, the hunter fell, defeated, powerless against their combined strength. The remaining hunters, disoriented and shaken, retreated, disappearing into the shadows of the tunnels. The alien girl lowered the crystal, exhausted but victorious, glowing markings dimming. The human sank to the floor, breathing heavily, sweat and rain mixing on his face. Leora placed a hand on the alien girl's shoulder. "You controlled it. You were incredible." The alien girl smiled faintly, relief and pride flooding her. "We did it. Together." The human nodded, looking at both of them, awe and gratitude in his eyes. "We survived, because we didn't give up." The chamber grew quiet, only the dripping of water echoing a calm after the storm. The alien girl looked at the human. "Thank you, for not leaving me, for standing by me." He shook his head, smiling. "I would never leave. Not now, not ever." Leora stepped back, energy fading. "The hunters will return one day. But now you are stronger, smarter, and ready." The alien girl held the crystal close, feeling hope for the first time. "Then we prepare for whatever comes next." The human nodded, "And we face it together." Outside, the city continued in rain and storm, oblivious to the battles fought beneath its streets. Inside, the tunnels were silent, save for 3 figures standing, together, victorious, united. The alien girl, the human, and Leora, stronger than before, bonded by courage, trust, and survival. The final showdown had tested them, pushed them to their limits, and yet they had endured, overcome, and emerged. Victorious, the hunters may return, but now they were ready, together. Nothing could break their will, their unity, or their hope. The alien girl's glowing markings pulsed softly, a heartbeat of life and power. The human stood beside her, determined, loyal, brave. Leora smiled faintly, knowing their journey was far from over, but they had won the night, and in the dark tunnels beneath the city, hope burned brighter than any fear.